Okay, this is a tutorial on a course review. Um, right from uh, the document that you see on the screen, um, course review sheet must be filled out for each and every course that you do review. As we make statement in here, the password is always going to generally be review when you come to your course inside of your safety dashboard, which we will get to here in a minute. Basically, during the review, we are looking for the layout of the course is specific and what you are looking for as a requirement for your company. Ensure the content of the course is specific to the company manual if applicable, or identifying specific elements within the company itself and relevance to. You need to answer all of the test questions and make sure that it grades properly. The mastery level set up for most courses is a 80% pass mark. All the links need to be working properly, and any PDF documents need to open correctly. If you do not have PDF on your machine, you will need to make sure that the machine that you're operating or doing the review with has PDF. You'll also want to make sure that the machine that you're using has Flash, the latest files of Flash updated on your machine, as well as JavaScript also needs to be on your machine. When you review and look at any of the graphics within the course, we're looking for clarity, we're looking for size, and that kind of thing. And of course, any misspellings of the name or names or anything like that within the course, we want to make sure that they're identified. Now, I'm going to basically in this tutorial show you how to review the course and ensure that how you document it is something that we can work with on our side to speed up the process and ultimately get to an option where we can move through your changes quite quickly. So your first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go to your safety dashboard. So usually and generally it would be your course name, your company name, and then the .coursesafety.ca. You will go to your e-trainings tab. From the e-trainings tab, you will select the course that you're going to be reviewing. In this case, we're going to use confined space as an example. So in confined space, right off the main page, we're looking for size of the graphics, we're looking for make sure that it's the correct course name, and any other pertinent information all the way down to the fine print down here in the bottom. So in this case we're looking at test BM, test BM. Don't worry about the branch scenario. This would be review as my password. I will click submit, and you should see that it would actually register, the registration would be verified. If it's not, then that means likely that the password that you tried to use was incorrect. Move forward. Now we're at the main page of the course content, and in here we're going to basically move forward, and this brings us to a typical layout of a chapter. So down the left hand side you'll see the chapter topics, And on the main page, you'll also see what pages have been identified inside of this particular chapter. First thing that we normally do is we will expand these nodes on the side. Reason being is that when you are on a page, and I'm going to move forward in the course. Now at this point, the page that you see here is called scope, or a titled scope. With the title of scope, you'll also notice in the side marker in the sidebar here that scope has a number 1.1 associated to it. This is very key when it comes to identifying anything on this page that we would need to correct, and it speeds up our process by knowing that the 1.1, and if there's a particular paragraph or anything like that, that we would need to know what the change was. So in looking at this particular page, what we would prefer is that you take a screen capture of the page that you're on, this really just helps us to quickly identify to make sure that we're on the same page when it comes to the correction that you're looking for. What we're looking for as well is the note down below identifying what changes that you would like to see. In this case, I'm just going to mention about the size of the graphic. Graphic size on page 1.1 needs to be reduced, for example. If you are talking about punctuation within a paragraph or something to that nature, if you would be so kind, and if you could, it would be best. And I'm just going to pick on any of the wording in here, but when you go up to your top bar menu here in Word, you can see that you can come away with a series of shapes, and whether you choose circles, squares, doesn't really matter to us. So in the case of using the circle, but you know, maybe there was a misspelling on a word, and just to help us narrow it down, you would right click on this and format your shape, take out the fill, so no color, and hit OK. And you know, maybe just make it a little easier for us, like I said, to circle some of the wording, and then down in your notes also correct spelling as circled above. If you are not going to be utilizing any kind of circle, what we would request is a description as such in the first paragraph. On the third line, the word core safety should be spelt in all lowercase. That's just an example. Maybe it was a misspelling again, or whatever the case may be, but being very specific about what you're asking us speeds up the time dramatically and allows us the opportunity to move through and make your changes and get them back to you quickly, and get your employees operating and getting them trained in the course material. Now, as we had mentioned, we are also looking for the course. I'm just going to scoot back to our course here. Is any test questions or anything that pops up in relation to supporting documentation or information. Also be looking at consistencies of font sizes and that kind of character as well. And make sure your eyes are scanning everything across the board. And as mentioned about test questions, I'm just going to randomly pick some answers and grade the test. And what do you know? Smart guy. So in that series of questions, it did pass through at 100%. That's great. If you feel that there's a test question that we have posted that we've given you the answers on that is incorrect, and yet it allows you to go through, by all means, please let us know, as we can come back in here. Again, you would take a screen capture, drop it into your Word document, and make reference to this is the first chapter. In chapter 1, question 2, please review test question as the answer may be incorrect. So, as I mentioned, being very specific to what you're asking for, where we're asking for it, is a tremendous help. Giving us vague statements just means that we have to hunt for the answer, and would probably take a lot longer than we would like to take. Also, you'll notice if I try to move through the course, and I'll always get stopped at the test questions, We try to make sure that the test questions, or when we go through a review, that we do not have on the system is geared so that when an employee is taking the course, they cannot move to the next module unless they have answered the questions correctly within that chapter. As you can see, when I answered this, I failed, and it brought me right back to the beginning of the chapter for me to source out the material so that I may be able to gain access to the next chapter, having read through the material and having a better understanding of what it was I was trying to achieve, which was correct answers. Not all modules or courses are set up to have 100%. They would possibly have 80%, but they would have progress controls on. That is also the reason why we would give you the test questions, would be so that you can have those questions answered very easily and move through each module without having to answer or read all the material as per taking a course. So moving on to the next module. Again, so here we have a video from WorkSafe BC that automatically populated and started, which is fantastic. And if that did not work, then we just want you to, again, looking at what the page name is. So we've got Code of Practice. We would look for Code of Practice in this side menu, and in the side menu we need that number right there, that 2.1. Now if it was being a netlink, this will open up in its own page and take you to where specifically we wanted it to go. So good. Now you need to remember to go back to the course off of the material, off of the tab at the top, and just keep going through the course. And if you find things that need to be changed or whatever the case may be, then like I said, take the screen capture. If not, give us a good description, and that will lead us to making those changes as quickly as possible. And in the end, the faster that we can do that, the better.